Welcome to Fuel Access Network Fuel Card, a winning combination presentation on the understanding of our fuel card program. This is going to be a fairly deep dive into our fuel card program for the commercial trucking and transportation industry. I'm going to do my best to make sure everything is as plain English as possible, but if for any reason something I explained wasn't clear enough, make sure you make some notes. Have a pen and paper handy during this presentation. Make notes or questions so that at the conclusion, you can go back to the person that presented this to you and ask them to clarify anything that I've represented here to make sure that everything we cover, you clear in your understanding and comfortable in its representation. My name is Michael Kilborn. I'm the owner of Fuel Access Network. I've spent the last 5 years developing these programs, and I can't tell you how excited I am to share this presentation with you and exactly how our card program works. Today, what we're going to cover is the introduction to Fuel Access Network, or FAN. We're going to cover program details, Fuel Cards 101, selling strategies, and even contract and documentation that our customers experience. This is just a quick outline. Inside of all these, I'll delve into a few stories and some simplified understandings of different concepts that surround the fuel cards as a whole. I'll try not to diverge too far from it. I'll do my best to stay on course, and I do respect your time. So let's go ahead and get started and get rolling with the presentation. So Fuel Access Network has fuel cards for owner-operators and small fleets. This is already something you understand. But it's a basic concept that our job is to meet, find, and acquire new customers that this fuel card can be an advantage to them. There's a multitude of ways to do that. We'll do another seminar more on the marketing side and on the sales side. But today what we're going to do is we're going to dive into the fuel cards themselves and the effect that they have and how they work. So on a program detail, as an overview, you understand that our job is to do that. Our job is to direct people to our website. So just go to www.fuelaccessnetwork.com. You'll see a picture just like this on the screen. But the goal is to have those new customers push the red button that says sign up today. What they're effectively doing is filling out the application to apply for these fuel cards. You do have to apply for these fuel cards. These fuel cards are not just free to everybody. You do have to have some credit worthiness. We do look at that because we do extend credit, and we'll be talking about that further, to those given individuals or companies, and we need to make sure that they have the credit worthiness for that. And in some cases, they can be credit challenged, but we have ways to help them also. So we're going to dig in a little bit, and let's jump in just with the basic understanding is, what is a fuel card, EFS, or WEX Bank? And that's going to help us get started with all fuel cards, doesn't matter whose it's from, all fuel cards in some way, shape, or form on the commercial industry are tied back to an FDIC bank institution. And in our case, it's called WEX Bank. WEX Bank backs EFS. We are regulated, FDIC insured, and controlled by the laws and regulations of the banking industry. These cards that way allow us to not only issue credit, but deal in monies in a very affordable and competitive manner. So as we go through this presentation, you're going to see the reference right above my head here. It says EFS, or Electronic Funds Source. That is the institution that is owned by WEX Bank, and EFS is the largest name in the fuel card business in the transportation industry. They are heads and tails above any other competitor. They're the best at what they do and the most affordable. So if you see that logo up there and go, well, what is EFS? They are effectively our backing institution that backs Fuel Access Network's ability to offer discounts on the EFS network. EFS is a network that allows these types of transactions to process. A lot of times you'll hear terms like, um, they'll say transaction rail. So fuel cards transact differently than, say, your American Express. Okay, so if you go to a store and you buy something on your American Express, it's transacting through a POS system that transacts American Express on that rail. You couldn't use a fuel card, you know, at a grocery store. It doesn't work. There's specific equipment inside of every truck stop all across the United States. They're everywhere that process the EFS style transactions or fuel card style transactions. We're going to dig into what those are in a moment, but just so you have the understanding, is EFS is basically our platform that we ride on. Fuel Access Network negotiates and controls and builds all the discounts and delivers all of our customers through our main account. Our main account is called a parent account. Now, I know we're going to get a little complex, but bear with me on this one. So, Fuel Access Network is a parent of what is hundreds of children underneath us. So, kind of think of it like levels, okay? If Fuel Access Network is the mom and dad, and John Smith Trucking is a child, that means all the discounts that I create at the parent level, all those discounts, all those savings, that huge network, okay, that whole thing gets passed down to all my children. As many as there are, they all get the benefits that we at Fuel Access Network negotiate on their behalf. So we are basically one tier deep. We're not multi-tiered. We're one tier. It's parent, and everybody else is a child connected to the parent. It's not parent, then child, then another child, then nope, doesn't work that way. Every single customer is directly related as a child to Fuel Access Network that is the parent. So effectively, Fuel Access Network has hundreds and hundreds of children, and those children are our customers, owner operators, small fleets, trucking companies. Those are our children. That's how this platform works. So when we find a new owner operator, our goal is to deliver them to our website, educate them, of course, talk them through, explain everything, which you're going to learn more in a moment. But the goal is to get them to sign up and apply for their own account, which is a child account. They own it, they control it, it's theirs, but it's their own account. And that's going to become important in just a little bit. Program details of a fuel card. And of course, we're talking about the child style fuel card, our customers. A fuel purchase card, or just a fuel card, depending on what you want to call it, retail cash price, not credit price. We've all seen that if they go to a truck stop, there's two different prices on the billboard. Our fuel cards, first and foremost, never charge a credit price. It's always retail cash if there are no discounts at all truck stops and most gas and convenience stores. Okay. We, on top of that, of course, put a discount, which makes it even more exciting. Lower fuel transaction fees. Okay. There is a transaction fee that it costs to fuel up. Okay. Our customers are transacting on that EFS rail. It's not free to do. There is a fee when they fuel up. It's $1.50. No monthly active card fee or transaction fees when using what's called the Crossroads Freight or the MasterCard Rail, which is our fuel card. These are just the technical words for it. But there is a $1.50 transaction fee, and when they're saving $40, $50, $90, $100 on a single fill-up or more, that $1.50 is subtracted from that savings to give them a net savings of $1.50 less. They have a myriad of benefits with this card. Once they get it, it is not just going to get them fuel discounts. They're not just going to save money. You're about to find out that this single card has an entire host of benefits that they can now take advantage of once they have an approval and access to this fuel card. First, cash services. They can get cash from their card balance with a fuel purchase or without a fuel purchase, like at an ATM. If they need money or cash, maybe to pay for a repair, buy a sandwich, or whatever, they can get cash to themselves. It goes against their credit balance, but they do have a line of credit with this fuel card, and they could get cash if that was something they needed. Money codes and services. This is digging a little bit further into the trucking industry, but in some cases, money codes and cash are needed to accomplish certain tasks. Money codes can be used for repairs. In other words, you blew a tire. I have to pay a tire company. They may not take your fuel card, but they will take what's called a quote money code. In simple terms, it's kind of like sending a wire transfer through a fuel card. It's a very simplistic way of understanding it, but it's a guaranteed way that that service company knows that when this transaction happens, they are not at risk of not being paid. The funds are guaranteed. So money codes can come through this fuel card and can be utilized by our customer. The fee for doing a money code is 75 cents for each incurment. So anytime they need a money code, it'll cost them 75 cents. But if you're fixing $1,000 or $1,500 tire, 75-cent fee is not exactly their biggest worry at this point. But having the ability to have those money codes in the transportation sector, I will tell you, is vital to our customers. Hopefully they never need it, but if they do, it's there at their disposal and they can access it 24/7. Here's where the transparency is going to come in. This is how we make money. If anybody asked, well, you're doing a lot of work and you're really helping me out, but what are you getting out of this? This is how it works. Merchants or partners, that's the truck stops, the truck places, where the fuel is, offer discounts or rebates to Fuel Access Network card users. So in other words, truck stops, as I've talked about in previous trainings, they'll give us a discount, but the reason that we get to pass that discount on is they're looking for those drivers, owner-operators, to come and patronage those locations. They're hoping they come there and buy the fuel, buy a sandwich, get a soda, get some coffee, go in and spend a couple dollars. And those savings are their carrot, if you will, to draw them in, okay? And when it's within our Fuel Access Network, our drivers know about these savings in these locations. So we are compensated one of a couple different ways, okay? First one's called retail less. Very easy to understand. If fuel costs, using round numbers, let's say fuel costs $4 a gallon in Colorado. Well, if a specific location said, well, we'll give you a discount Fuel Access Network of 25 cents per gallon. Well, whatever the retail cash price is, which is $4, our customers will pay 25 cents per gallon less than that, so $3.75 a gallon. They'll see that in our app. So if that station's within their path of where they're driving, and they need fuel, they know if they pull in there, they'll pay $3.75 rather than $4. That's retail less, okay? The other one, it's called cost plus. Now, this one we could get really, really complicated, but I'm not going to, okay? In simple terms, cost plus means there is a cost of diesel at the refinery. Then it costs money to put it in a truck and transport it and get it to the station. So basically the cost of the fuel to get it all the way to the truck stop where our trucker is going to get it. Whatever that cost is, there is a base fee. And then they give us what's called a plus, which is what that truck stop says, I want to make X amount of dollars, or cents in this case, on every gallon of fuel. So as an example, they might say, I'll give you cost plus 15 cents, which means the truck stop needs to make 15 cents on every gallon to cover their cost of doing business. Okay, it's expensive to run a truck stop. So 15 cents makes sense. We can deal with that. So let's say the cost of that same Colorado station was, we'll say it was cost was $3.50. We'll just say $3.50 to get it to the station, and then we have to add 50 cents to that. So $3.65 is our big number. That's what our customers are going to pay. Well, they're seeing $4 on the sign, and they're seeing, hey, I can get it for $3.65 a gallon rather than $4. That's cost plus. And that's one of the ways that we get discounts. The other one is called better of. And better of is exactly what you think. It's better of the two examples I just gave to you. There are days that getting 25-cent retail minus is a greater discount than cost plus 15 cents. Fuel pricing changes every single day. This is not static for 6 months, 8 months. It changes every day, no matter. It's crazy, the fuel market. So every single day, it could be a different savings at a different location. That's why we update our app multiple times a day. So we try to project the best savings to our customers as accurately as possible. But better of just means whichever of those first two, retail less or cost plus, gives our customers a better savings, that's what you get. And the last one is retail gas and convenience. I wanted to be clear that this is a diesel fuel program for the transportation market. We're unable to leverage any discounts or rebates on what they call the forecourt or the gasoline court. This is all commercial fuel where you always see all the big trucks fueling up in the back at these truck stops, not where the cars are fueling up. Fuel Cards 101. What we're going to do is we're going to dig into the fuel cards a little bit deeper now. And we're just going to talk about how these fuel cards work, the benefits of them, and how they can use them in their day-to-day working environment within the trucking industry. So it starts with who's a typical fan prospect that needs these fuel cards, okay? So it's a Class 2 through Class 8 vehicles. What that means is some of the smaller delivery trucks like water trucks that we see running around in town, all the way up to a Class 8 vehicle, which would be that typical 18-wheeler semi we're all used to seeing on the road. Purchase diesel fuel at truck stops. That's a key function. That's where our discounts are. They're at the truck stops. Primarily uses truck stops for access, parking, amenities, as we talked about before, food, showers, bathrooms, restaurants, you name it. When they use those, these fuel cards are huge for them. All carrier types. So there's contract carriers, common carriers, for hire carriers. What that means is contract carriers are people that haul freight for contract. For hire, people might be race teams and musicians and rock stars in their buses. That's all quality customers for us. They all utilize truck stops. So if you here's one for you. If you're bored one day, go drive your car down to a truck stop, find a safe parking spot, and sit there for an hour. And just watch what flows through those truck lanes. You would be amazed at the diverse amount of vehicles in just an hour or two that go through any given truck stop all across the United States. If you're looking for ideas of, well, who could I work with? Just go sit at a truck stop for an hour or two, bring a pen and paper and take notes. It will blow your mind, the people that use diesel fuel in those lanes, and it'll give you amazing ideas also. Private fleets. There's a lot of private fleets out there, like bus fleets, traveling all across the cities and the states. There's truckload, and LTL means less than truckload, okay? All of these qualify to use these fuel cards. All types of drivers. So company drivers. There are people that work for small companies, fleets less than 5 trucks. All of them qualify. Owner operators, a gigantic sector for us. I mean, just huge. When you think about the 8 million trucks on the road, and to think that 80% of that 8 million is small fleets of 5 trucks or less and owner operators, the market share that we have is beyond astronomical for you. I don't know any other business that you can say in 48 lower states, I literally can go into every city, every town, and there's a customer there for me. other than maybe McDonald's. That might be the other one. But for what we're talking about, it's a pretty huge opportunity. And we're going to expand on that just a touch more. What makes the Fuel Access Network card different? Why are we better than somebody else that offers a fuel card? I mean, we certainly aren't the only ones that offer a fuel card. They have been around for quite a while. Otherwise, we wouldn't have known how to solve the problems. But what makes us better? Fan branding, Fuel Access Network branding, and WEX, of course, the bank, remember that, and EFS technology, which is that fuel rail. That's our backing. When you put those three entities together, Fuel Access Network, WEX Bank, and EFS, or Electric Funds Transfer Technology, all together under one roof, man, you come up with a powerhouse. You have a complement to the trucking company needs and standards. You have the largest proprietary network of truck stop fueling locations, 95% saturation on all gas and convenience sites. Anywhere MasterCard is accepted in the US at a truck stop, this can work. You have robust and incredible reporting, which is so important in the trucking industry. These owner operators need to have this type of reporting to ensure they're staying legal at all times. This fuel card actually gathers all of that reporting for them. So when it's time for them to require it, to turn it in, whether it's the DOT or the FMCA or whatever, they can just pull a report, print it out, and they're done. It makes it so easy for them. We're really helping them. Special card controls for security. All of these cards that our customers have are controlled by them, which means if an owner operator decides to buy a second truck and hire a driver, remember, he can still give them his fuel card. That means he controls everything. That owner can have a driver with his fuel cards because he has special card controls for security, flexibility, theft prevention, can even allow auto gasoline and auto diesel purchases if he needed to. The flexibility that they have when they hire drivers and start to grow their company is huge. It keeps their account safe and secure and protects them from theft. Complementary products are a really nice feature on all of these. We talked a little bit about it with cash services or money codes. Permits. You can actually purchase permits for the trucking industry, whether it's a temporary or a fuel. A lot of these, you see these overweight loads, or the trucking freight has placards, signs on them, and you have to buy permits for all of that. You can get that with your fuel card. It has fuel management, and it has factoring. Factoring is something we're going to talk about in the next seminar, but I will denote that the factoring is probably just as important as the fuel card that we're going through today. So make sure you stay tuned for that next training seminar on factoring. That's a monster to our customers. It's one of the biggest things that we help them with. All right, this is going to be a really exciting slide. This is one that I really enjoy. The fuel access card versus a credit card or cash. How do we effectively make a difference? So starting at the top, when using our card, everything is controlled and categorized by product, quantity, unit, driver, location, day limit, day, time, location, everything. When you use your own personal credit card or cash, you can't do any of that. Once the funds are spent, they're spent. Anytime you use your own personal credit card or cash, you don't get discounts. Those are only being done when using quality fuel cards like the Fuel Access Network fuel card. We're accepted at over 14,000 truck stops all across North America. It's incredible where we can be accepted. It's all major truck stops. Our fuel card can be used like a MasterCard if needed. Okay, it has that ability. It's not your personal MasterCard. Okay, it's very different, but it can carry the MasterCard logo if that's what our customer needs, and can be utilized and swiped anywhere MasterCard is accepted. Cost savings. Fuel Access Network can negotiate the discounts where when you're using credit cards or cash, you can't negotiate. You just don't get discounts. This slide says 2,000 truck stops. We're already over 2,500, we're proud to say. So we're growing every month, month over month. Additional promotions can apply to this card. The further we go and the more we grow, we can add additional discounts for our customers. Discounts can be administered by all major truck stop chains and pass through our card. Cash prices versus credit card prices, as I noted a moment ago, there's no discounts for them, but there are for us. Reporting details are at level 3 data. This is vital. I just can't express enough when it comes to owner operators. They need to understand that controlling their own reporting at a level 3 data level is just important to them. Most owner operators in trucking fleet know this, but we can take the time and help them get educated so that they now have all of their own reporting. Customer care, this is going to be a huge function where we work with you hand in hand. EFS offers 24/7, 365 dedicated customer support. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, our customers can call the 800 number on the back of their fuel card for any questions, problems, concern, assistance, help, whatever, okay? But they've got another line of defense. They have you. This, in my view, is the most important. You can tell your customers to call the 800 number on the back of the card, but it's not very personable and it doesn't build relationships. We're here to build relationships. We're here to create customer retention. We want to be there to help our customers. We, as customer service reps, you, me, Fuel Access Network, all of our folks here, we have the ability to help all of our customers at every level. Let me give you an easy example. Let's say one of our customers said, hey, I just bought a second truck. I need another fuel card. Okay. They can easily call the 800 number on the back of the card and they'll get a customer service rep from EFS and he'll say, prove who he is and make sure that they get into the account. And he says, I need another card. Well, that representative is going to help them order a new card. It'll get shipped to their home address and good to go. I got a better idea. I'm going to build a relationship with that guy and say, listen, if there's anything that you need, I want you to give me a call. Let me try to help you. And if I don't know the answer, I'll get the answer for you. I'll contact DFS through our channels so you don't have to waste your time on hold. That way, when he says, hey, I really could use another card, for me, that's a 2-second email that I can send on that customer's behalf. I'll have that fuel card in the mail probably next day to him and a new fuel card. And all he had to do was pick up the phone and call me. I'm building that relationship. I'm building that customer retention. I'm furthering my relationship with that customer to ensure he's happy, I'm answering his questions, and I'm there for him. And at Fuel Access Network, that is what we're about. Customer retention, customer relationships. We want to make sure that we're there. Now, are you going to be there at 3 in the morning? No, I don't expect you to be there at 3 in the morning. That's also why there's an 800 number on the back of the card, because we can lean on EFS when we're not available. But always tell your customers when you're working with them, hey, you've got my business line, you've got my email, you know how to text me, whatever communication you prefer, make sure that they've got that information. So if it's a simple question, you can make sure you can get that answered. And the last one is make sure that you're reaching out to your customers at least once a month. Call them, check in. You get a little bit of the lifestyle in our previous. I'll be honest, when I was driving, a phone call when I'm driving across West Texas, okay, if my cell phone works, I'm interested. It's pretty barren land out there, not much to do. And if somebody's calling, just say hi and check in with me. I appreciate that, okay? No, I'm not going to talk to you when I'm loading and unloading, but I'll reach back to you, and I appreciate you talking to me, okay? Reach out to your customers, stay in touch, know what they're going through, and keep that customer service up. It's vital for customer retention. Let's talk about the Fuel Access Network card program controls for our customers. So our customers basically have 5 areas that they can control: fuel, cash, additives, maintenance, and miscellaneous. All of them are pretty self-explanatory, but basically, on the fuel side, they can control how much fuel is used either in gallonage or dollars. They can decide to allow cash withdrawals on that same fuel card at a fuel desk or ATM, or do debit purchases. Additives including oil, antifreeze, and DEF. A lot of trucks take DEF now, so we want to make sure that that's allowable. Maintenance. Things happen on trucks all the time. Everything from a tire to a hose to a mechanical issue on a truck or a trailer. They want to make sure that they can get those things fixed quickly and back on the road. And the other one is miscellaneous things like, food or retail purchases that would not fall in anywhere else. All drivers can use the Fuel Access Network card to make purchases in any one of these 5 areas. Obviously, they have to have it allocated within their, we'll call it their dashboard or their account controls. And once they have it allocated, they can utilize it. They can also log in and change those allocations anytime they want, 24 hours a day. So these are all adjustable, changeable, and controllable by our customers. Right, limit-based versus balance-based. This is how our customers come through our application process. So our customers will fall into one or two categories. Limit-based means that they are a good credit risk. They get a line of credit that they can utilize on their account. Or they might be a little more credit challenged, which is fine. It happens, but it means they're going to fall into the prepaid category. So I'm going to touch on each one of these briefly. Limit-based or credit customers means that they're given a line of credit per truck. Today in July of 2024, it's about $2,100 per truck. Okay, what that means is if you have one truck, you'll be given a line of credit of about $2,100 a week, and they draft that twice a week. So typically they'll do it on a Tuesday, on a Friday. So if I'm fueling up, they'll draft money out of my account to pay whatever balance I've used off my $2,100 every Tuesday. And then whatever I use Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, they'll draft that then again on Friday. And every time they draft from my account as a customer, it resets my $2,100 balance back up to $2,100. So if I used $1,000, I was down to $1,100. On Tuesday morning, when they take the payment, I automatically have $2,100 again going into the next few days. If you take that back to our discussion about traveling between Wisconsin and California, you'll find that that falls in almost exactly what we need to make sure that I can drive from A to B and have the proper credit to be able to do that. And then again, return at the end of the week where then I would be debited again. And having those funds available to me is where factoring comes in. We'll cover that in the next presentation, but just know that we've got a solution for that also. But on the fuel side, 2 drafts per week. It's limited because you have credit, and it's typically an amount of about $2,100 per truck. So if you have one truck, 21. If you have 2 trucks, do the math, it goes up and up and up. Balance-based cards are prepaid. It just means that for whatever reason, you didn't qualify on the credit side. So you've got to build that credit a little bit, and we're going to be able to help them do that. But they're going to have to be able to put up the cash to be able to do this. That's the challenge for some of the folks. When you don't have the credit to do it, you can put your own cash on the card. So we can open an account, it has 0 credit and 0 money on it, and you can move money from your personal account up to this. By doing that, you're building credit now on a business sense. You're helping yourself reestablish credit so you can go from a prepaid status to a credit or limit-based account. Now, typically, they only evaluate these every 3 or 6 months, but if someone's looking to have access to our discounts and they're credit challenged, we can still help them. It is going to take a little more effort on their part. They will have to put up the money, but our systems between our fuel cards and our factoring system will allow them to do that very easily. So just because somebody's credit challenged, don't think that that's a bad thing and that now we can't help them. Now what? We've got a system in place. We will treat them very well here and we'll take good care of them. We'll make sure that they have the ability to not only fix their credit, but have access to cash management all here with the tools that we have with our fuel cards and our factoring. All right, I want to touch on a topic which is discounts versus what a rebate is. So fuel access network rebates are very different than discounts. So discounts are things that we provide to our trucking customers, the owner operators, those independent and small locations and those major chains, everything from TA Petro, Pilot, Flying J, Speedway, 7-Eleven, Rudders, Thornton's, Sapp Brothers, you name it. There's tons, over 2,500 stations all across our network give discounts. And these are things that our truck drivers get. They find them in our proprietary app. They save money on their fuel through a discount. A rebate is a very different animal. A rebate is how those same locations, Pilot, Flying J, TA Petro, all those truck stops, they give us as a company a rebate for driving business and truck drivers to their locations. That is our compensation for doing what we do. We do not take money from our customers. We don't take their discount and say, okay, great discount, Mr. Truck Driver. Why don't you just give me 10% of that discount and we'll call it even? We don't do that. We give the entire discount that we have available to push forward to them. We give the whole discount to the driver. And the reason we can do that is because we already know we're being compensated by a rebate. And that rebate, as you already know, is a fixed rate. It's not sliding or changing based on one location or another. It's a fixed rate, which means we as selling agents are unbiased because it doesn't matter who our customer is. It doesn't matter where they're from. It doesn't matter how many trucks they have. Okay. We get the same quote rebate or compensation structure no matter who the customer is. And here's the flip side to that. Our customers, it doesn't matter if one guy has a 15-year-old truck and only has one truck, and he only does, part-time work because that's his part-time job. Or another guy has 3 trucks, he's working his tail off trying to get a 4th and a 5th, and these discounts are the same for everybody. We treat all of our customers the same. No matter who that customer is, if they pull into any given location, the discount is the same for all of them. And the more people that use our discounts, the more volume and fuel that we get from our customers means we get to go back and negotiate for even bigger discounts for all of them. And when we get a bigger discount, it doesn't go to just part of our client base, it goes to all of them. And when we pass down in 2024, it's difficult because things keep getting more and more expensive. But we pick up the phone and say to our customers, hey, we just got another discount. We just added more locations. We wanted you to know about more savings. We're not trying to take more from them. We're trying to give more to them. And by doing that, our rebate, which is the compensation structure that we get, the pricing components, whether it's a big discount chain from a TA Petro and a Pilot Flying J, as well as the smallest independent locations and the mom and pop shops, we have over 1,200 independent and small truck stops. It's amazing within our entire network, we're servicing so many on 2 different platforms, the truck driver and the amazing truck stop and small business owners. So please make sure that you have a clear understanding of discounts versus rebates and how they work, because it's one of the key structured components which kept all of us at Fuel Access Network always working towards the same goal, which is the benefit of our network and the benefit of our customers. And because of that, we can be unbiased on all platforms and allows us to move forward in everybody's best interest. Let's jump into a few selling strategies, doing some kind of side-by-side comparisons of what makes Fuel Access Network, the partnership and the ecosystem that we've built with EFS and WEX Bank, and why we have such a strong competitive edge against anybody else out there when focused on those owner-operators and those small fleets. I'll give you some side-by-side comparisons to help you just further your understanding a little bit further. Competitive product comparisons. So we're going to look at what Fuel Access Network can do compared to, say, Comdata, which is a fuel card company also, a smaller network and don't have quite the benefits that we do, but we can kind of walk down these competitive lists and you can see that our customer service, compared to Comdata, online billing, acceptance at locations. I mean, we're at 14,000, they're only at 9. Monthly fees were zeros across the board. Look at Comdata's fees. They can range. It gets very expensive to have their services. We do have an account setup fee. It's $125. That account setup fee is only one-time fee, and it is only upon acceptance. Anybody can apply. It will not cost anybody if they don't qualify. But if they do, it's a one-time setup fee of $125. That's because there's a lot of things going on at the bank level, the EFS level, and at Fuel Access Network for all of us to get their accounts turned on, access into them, fuel cards shipped. There's a lot of functions happening. So we do charge that one-time fee. We don't hide from it. We're very, very public about it. It's in all their paperwork when they're applying, and you should certainly mention it to them, is that there is a one-time fee for that. But some of the offerings well outweigh that. And whenever anybody asks, geez, $125 setup fee, I said, yeah, fuel up one time, just one time. You'll probably get the entire thing back. Consistent pricing for all fleets. We offer massive discounts in comparison to Comdata. Visa, MasterCard, there are no discounts. So right there in itself really elevates our value well beyond anybody else. We do have a transaction fee because EFS charges $1.50 every time they fuel. We talked about that earlier. That's always outweighed by the time they fuel because it's taken from their savings. And there's transaction fees if they have to do things like money codes, cash transactions. We illustrated that also earlier. But take a look at our competitors, what they're doing. They don't even come close to us on so many of the services and some of the stuff that we can offer. Our card versus Comdata, and of course, Visa MasterCard is going to trail way behind us in the different features and benefits. Now we're going to jump into a few additional value adds on the Fuel Access Network product line. Again, I'll denote the factoring, which is invoice receivables financing to increase our cash flow and cash management position. Again, we have another training that you'll want to run through on that. This is such a gigantic value, and there's so much inside of that, but it is a value add that we have. We do have a gold tire program, fixed tire pricing nationally for an average. It's about a $40 discount per tire. In trucking, $40, even $20 is a big deal. So anywhere we can get savings, we want to pass that on. That's all part of our program automatically. We talked about the permitting. So when drivers need permits for oversize or overweight, we can do that. All of our fuel management stuff, of course, we don't want to let go of that. That's our fuel discounts and all of our fuel purchasing compliance reports. There's a telematics feature here with EFS. That's GPS products that better manage fleet assets. That's typically going to happen when we get into fleets that are 2, 3, 4, 5 trucks. But again, it's something that we have in our tool belt that we can talk about. And a big one is fuel tax reporting. If you're an owner operator or a small fleet, this can become a minefield. Fuel tax reporting is a requirement by the DOT and the federal government. It's called IFTA. Fuel tax software helps generate an easy to understand, consistent fuel tax picture so you can fill out the fuel tax reports and send them in on time. So these are just a few of the add-ons that we offer, and we'll touch on a couple more things that we just continuing on to our value proposition. Always cash pricing or less. It reduces the cost to our customers. Of course, on top of that, we have our savings, cash flow improvement, strongest credit underwriting in over-the-road space. WEX Bank and EFS, along with us, we improve our credit position and help our customers improve their credit position if they're in a challenged spot. Merchant negotiated discounts. As you know from this presentation, we negotiate discounts on our customers' behalf. We use enhanced business intelligence to improve the information. It's included in our app. It's free to our customers. Unique proprietary network and processing. We have recognized customer care specifically designed to help over-the-road fleets. That's not only the EFS customer service, but that's you. You're well trained, you're educated, you know what you're talking about. You understand the position of our drivers and what they go through every day. And because you carry that position when they call you, you can be empathetic and understanding and help get problems solved. And we can consolidate vehicle related expenses all onto the fuel card very easily. What we're going to do now is I'm going to walk you through the process that our customers will experience. So we're going to take it from the position you met Mr. Truck Driver. He's very interested in saving some money, thinks that your fuel card could do a real benefit for him and his company and his family. And you've directed him to the website. And he's then going to push that red button that says apply here, and he's going to go through the application. I'm going to step you through the experience that they're going to have so you can understand their experience. Onboarding a new customer. This is the required information. Fanboca is the branded online credit application. That's the button that they push on the website that says apply now. So they're going to put in the things you would expect on any financial application. Company's legal name, address, as it appears on their articles of organization. Financial information, billing cycles. As I denoted earlier, it's going to be twice a week, typically Tuesday, Friday, but they have the ability to change that if they prefer it, on a Monday and a Thursday. It's flexible to what they need for their business. Their payment method. Are they going to use a bank account to have the money ACH? They're going to use ACH Credit, Bankwire, Western Union. We're always going to tell them just have them do what's called an ACH debit. That way, you don't have to worry about running around doing Western Unions that cost money anyway. So there's easy ways to do this. We can guide our customers. Just fill it out and do an ACH debit right out of their business checking. They'll sign and review the terms and conditions. There's a BOCDD, which is just a beneficial owner's financial disclosure. Basically says it's their company and they're the owner. It is a bank or FDIC requirement. As we denoted, we are owned by a bank. So some of the things in here are going to be required by bank FDIC policy. They're then going to put in their truck unit numbers, their driver listing. They'll do a setup questionnaire. Setup questionnaire is very simple, as details on how the fleet likes to have their cards. Is it by driver? Do you keep the fuel card with the driver, or do you keep the fuel card in the truck and use different drivers? Restrictions on their setup for their fuel account, kind of setting up those first round of account limitations. We kind of help them get started with it. But of course, once the account's open, they can change it all again anyway. Once they get through that part of the application, at the end of it, it's either going to tell them that they were approved, because you can get instant qualification upon completing the app, or if there's more information needed, of course, they'll be given an email saying that we'll contact you. We're reviewing the application, and that can take a few days. And we have a team in place at Fuel Access Network that their whole job is to walk that customer through the application process. Sometimes they have to provide, a few pieces of business information, maybe a copy of their business license, front and back of a driver's license, simple things we would all expect. Maybe a copy of a utility bill or a proof of their business existence in that given state where they're applying from. We provide quite a few ways for this to happen, okay? You can send a customer a link to go right to our website. We can create a custom link for you. We auto track all the process as they go through the applications. That branded online credit application that they go through, we have email links. We can do embedded links. We auto track everything on your behalf and follow up on incomplete applications. If any one of your customers said, oh yeah, I've got the application done, and it was not done completely, we have a team in place to make sure that you or them reach out to that customer, because of course we understand you're the one building that relationship. So our compliance team is going to be working and talking with you to make sure that customer maybe gets that last piece of documentation turned in. And then upon approval, we want to make sure that they get all their information. The WEX card control app, the Fuel Access Network app, which gives them all the station locations. We've got to make sure that they know where those discounts are. Get them logged in online, whether it's through a phone, a tablet, or even a computer, so they can log in and make changes to their account. We call that the e-manager, their electronic managed dashboard within their account. We want to make sure they can get in there and make changes. And lastly is you. After your customer's all the way through, we've got an approved application, you've been notified you have a new customer, everybody's excited. It all comes back to you again. That customer retention, that relationship building, and making sure that they're clear and concise in their understanding. They know how to contact customer service and you. And we make sure that we stay in touch with them. All of us at Fuel Access Network have a responsibility to you, our agent. You are our face, you are a representative, and it's our job to make sure that we stand behind you with the full weight and force of our company, along with EFS and WEX Bank, to ensure we deliver a quality product with quality savings to the trucking and transportation industry. Hope this presentation has garnered a lot of information. I'm sure it's also brought some questions. To dig deeper into different topics and sections, we're happy to assist you. As you probably know, we can't cover every question in these presentations. So please take your questions back to the person that referred you to this video. Give us the opportunity to finish rounding out any of those answers that you need to conclude your success, to make sure that everything that you do at Fuel Access Network is successful. On behalf of myself, all of our teams, and everybody here, be safe and be kind to others.